Yeah. Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of the DTC podcast. Today we have a weekly pod talk with Elisa. We're gonna be talking about something that I think you guys are gonna love because we have been getting so many questions about this specific topic. So we had to address it today. One, because we want you guys to understand more how this works, and two, because we don't want you to go out there and spend all your money on something that you don't need. So we're going to be talking about supplements. We're going to touch on the most basic ones, the ones that, we get all the questions about, and the ones we're also going to tell you the ones that we recommend, the ones that we don't recommend, and the ones that we use ourselves, so you can see if you're actually using this or not. And that's pretty much everything. But how are you, Elisa? Thank you for making the time and being here.
Yes, love doing these weekly podcasts. So good. And it's good that we can talk about something a bit different this week, because I know that we've touched a lot on like the nutrition side, like the food side, but supplements are good. But we need to obviously understand the term of supplement. It's to supplement already what you're doing. So you obviously need to be putting in the work, like exercise and nutrition wise, for those supplements to actually work. So we can definitely go over the ones that I think are important, because I think some people as well, like that don't specifically weight train, they might not need as much supplementation as someone that does.
Mm-hmm.
So we can talk about that as well. Yeah.
And also, something else about supplements. I think like people, they know that they don't need this supplement, but I feel like maybe because it's trending, or I don't know, see someone
definitely
on that they really like, oh, I want to try this, let me try that. But then I realize, like, one, they're spending their money, they're wasting their money. And two, it's not really doing anything for them. They like literally are believing like, if I take this powder, it's gonna be boom magic. But it's like, is it really? Like, I think so. Yeah. So I think maybe, let's start by like talking about exactly what supplements are and whether we need them or we don't need them.
Yes. Depending on your goal and whatnot. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So how will you describe supplements?
Look, I think supplements is just a way for you to kind of, I like supplements more for the exercise side of things. I think like for recovery, for hydration to the muscles and all of that. I think that's mainly what supplements should be doing. I also like sleep supplements as well. I think it can help a lot of people that struggle with their sleep. But yeah, overall, people got to understand, and like I've done this before, and I'm sure you have as well. Like you see something online and you're like, wow, like look at what that person got. Should I get it? Should I, like, so you really got to stop and think, okay, what do I need though? You know what I mean? Like there's no point you taking a protein, even like a protein shake, for example. A protein shake is more for if you don't really have time or you're not hitting your protein targets to add that in. But if you're someone that's already eating a good diet, and you're not really exercising and whatnot, there's not a need to go and buy, the most expensive protein, because they are expensive supplements. And, we were saying this before, a lot of people would actually benefit more from investing their money elsewhere into like a trainer or a coach or something, rather than spending their money on supplements. Like I actually know people that will spend hundreds on supplements per month. And it's like, do you need all of them? So it's just really supplements. That word is so like loosely thrown around, but you just got to remember, you've got to be doing something or in some sort of, training regime for it to work. Like I think there's a lot of people out there that just take it and they don't train, they don't follow a diet. They just think that that's going to help. And it's like, make sure that you're doing all of the external factors before you start with supplementation. I feel like supplementation is something that should come after you've planned out your nutrition and exercise. You know what I mean? Like even some of my girls, I don't get them on, supplements, maybe just some vitamins at the start, like a multivitamin and all of that, but nothing really crazy until they actually get into the rhythm of things. You know what I mean? So like what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I was pointing at myself before, if you're watching this video, because I used to be that girl that will spend hundreds of dollars every single month on supplements. Like I was, but back then I was still working part-time because I was a student. So I was working part-time. I was not making much money as a part-time student, but all my money will go into supplements. Like I will go online and buy all the things that I didn't need. But at that time, I was like, yeah, I need the protein powder, I need the creatine, I need the pre-workout, I need the multivitamin, I need this, I need that. Like just been literally waste all my money. And that's because I didn't have the knowledge. I just assumed that supplements are going to help me get that body that I want. And like you said earlier, supplements are just there to supplement your diet, to supplement what you're doing. They're not there to make up for something that you haven't done. So I think that's something that we want you guys to understand very, very well. I know it can be challenging because you want supplements to do the work, but supplements don't do anything if you're not the one doing the work. For some special cases, like even if you're not training, you might need to supplement with something. If you're lacking with vitamin B12, if you have a deficiency with something, like some cases like that, you have to, like, you don't need to train, but you have to, like, health-wise, your doctor will tell you take that, blah, blah, blah. But those are some extreme cases. But for most of us who don't have a deficiency in something in particular, we don't really need a supplement. Even if you have been training for a long time, supplements, yes, are amazing, but they're not a must. They're not like a must. Yes, it will help, but if you don't have them, nothing's gonna happen. You're still gonna make it. You're gonna make progress. You're still gonna look amazing. Maybe your recovery is gonna take a little bit longer. Yes, but you're still gonna get the results that you want. It's not like something else I used to think is like, if I stop taking supplements, I'm gonna go back to square one, or I'm gonna lose so much muscle mass. And it just doesn't work like that. Remember that food is the main thing in your training. Supplements, it will be last on your list. And I do exactly the same with my clients. Like when they join, the only supplement that I might give them, and I say might because it's not for everyone, I might give them protein powder. That's it. Nothing. It's because it's easier and convenient. It's just much easier. Your snacks again.
And it's good protein powder to add it into the meals. So like a lot of mine, I get them to add it into their oats or add it into their yogurt. So it's just like that extra protein. It's not really taking the shake like by itself, unless like they're on the go, or if we really need to increase a protein. But I know what you mean. It's like it's not completely necessary for everyone, and you don't need to buy the most expensive one. At the end of the day, protein's protein. Like you can get the supermarket protein that's just as good. Obviously, you've got to look at other things like sugar and all of that. So there's obviously ones that have less sugar. So obviously keeping that in mind. But I think people are so caught up in, I've got to buy like the top brand, the most expensive one, where it's like, well, really, it probably does the same thing as one that you could buy in the supermarket. And if you actually like compare the macros, like it's very similar. So it's really interesting. In that sense.
And like with my clients, like, because I get them when they first join the program, I get them to fill out an onboarding form so I can get to know them a little bit more. And one of the questions is, what supplements are you currently taking? Some of them are not taking. Some of them are taking, just the basics, protein powder, blah, blah. And some of them are taking like 20 supplements. And then when I ask them, like, do you mind me asking, is there a specific reason? Maybe your doctor tell you. And most of the time it's the same answer, like, no, I just, I see people taking it, or maybe my old coach recommended me to take this. And like, right there, you have like 20 supplements that you really don't need. The thing we need right now, if you have the supplements, obviously finish them. We don't want to waste them. But next time, I will suggest not to get all of them because it's too many. You literally don't need that. The only thing now is just to focus on the meal plan that you're going to start following in the next few weeks. And that's the thing that's going to give you all the nutrients that you need. Apart from
that's right.
Putting that on top, not just that extra pressure, but also that extra money. It's unnecessary. Like, we don't need that, guys. We really don't need them.
And putting all those supplements into your body as well. Like you were saying before, I know people, they're like having like 5-6 different powders a day. Like that's not good for your body either. If you're not, exercising, you're not like, you know what I mean? You're just taking it for the sake of taking it. Like I had to laugh, even like the other week, I saw a lot, like, especially because of the new year and whatnot. And people are like, oh, back on track. And they're posting like their protein shake for breakfast, right? And I'm like, are they doing anything else? Like that was their way of saying, I'm ready to start. And I'm like, but what else are you doing? Just taking a protein shake isn't going to make you lose weight, because I think people get confused as well with the idea of protein. They think protein makes them lose weight. And it's like,
Mhm.
it's not, it's make you lose weight. It
Yeah.
helps with everything else, like your functioning, your digestion, your recovery, all of that. And I always say to people, hit your protein targets 100% before you hit your carbs and fats. You know what I mean? That's the main, that's the main macronutrient, but it doesn't make you lose weight. You still have to put in the work. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
you still have to be in a calorie deficit, you know? So a lot of people actually just, they will have multiple shakes throughout the day and not count that in their calories. And I'm like,
Don't even get
got
started.
calories. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still got calories. Yeah. So I really hope that, and I really try to promote this as well. I really hope that people listening understand that, you know, protein's not going to make you lose weight. It's,
Mhm.
you know, it's going to help with everything else internally, but it's not going to make you lose weight. You still need to be in a calorie deficit. You can't just be having, you know, 3 protein shakes a day, and then they'll get like the flavored ones, their favorite flavor.
Mm.
And they're like, oh, it's so nice. And they're like, oh, I've had 3 today. And I'm like, okay, you've just had like 400 calories, you know, you've pushed
Mm.
yourself out of a deficit. So yeah, just keeping that in mind as well with
Yeah, I think
protein.
that, yeah, let's start with protein because I think that's like the most
Yeah,
one and the biggest one. But before we talk about
yeah.
protein, I know someone that is taking, she's replacing her breakfast with a scoop of pre-workout every single day. So no breakfast,
Wow.
no food, just pre-workout.
Okay.
And when
Workout, yeah.
yeah, when she told me about it, I was like, why are you doing that to yourself? Like, why are you replacing, I don't know, some eggs, toast, whatever, with a scoop of
Yeah,
workout? She's like,
yeah.
I'm just not hungry in the mornings. I just need the energy. And I was like,
Mm.
I can understand if you're not hungry. I completely understand because not everyone's hungry. But
Yeah,
taking that every single day, not just for 1 week or 2 weeks, but she's been doing it for months and months and months. I'm like,
yeah,
are you aware of, the health issues that this can cause long term? Maybe not right now too
yeah,
much, but long term, because we're replacing some nutrients with something that is very high in caffeine. It has all the different
yeah,
nutrients that a pre-workout has, and it's not really doing much to your body. Yeah, it's giving you the energy for a little bit, but then what happens after?
yeah. But it's not
Yeah.
like helping you like with muscle growth or muscle, like it's got no actual health benefits to it. You're right. Yeah,
Yeah, and it just shows you like people just take supplements without really know what they're doing. They just
yeah,
like, oh, pre-workout energy, let me take it every single day.
yeah. And
Protein
it's a
powder,
mind thing
yeah.
as well. It's a mind thing. Like what happens is, and it's like it's actually been proven in studies and whatnot. So if like there's anyone listening that's interested, you can even look into it. But a lot of these supplements, it's like the placebo effect.
Yeah.
You take them and your body convinces yourself, like, because your mind is so powerful. So you've actually convinced yourself after taking that, oh, I've got energy. So you rely on it.
Mm.
But a lot of the time, like they've actually proven that it's not the supplement that's actually giving you the energy. It's just your mind telling yourself, oh, I've got it, like I've got the energy now because you take it. Because with a lot of those pre-workouts as well, especially like you said, if that person's been taking it for months, your body gets used to it. And then it doesn't have the same effect as it does the first few weeks. So that's why, like, even with a lot of supplements, I even cycle them on and off with my clients, like come off for 2 weeks, have a break, and then go back on because you get used to them. And but yeah, it's a lot of the time it's a mind thing. It's like with coffee. I know that coffee does not give me energy. It just doesn't. But I feel like when I have it, I'm like, oh, I can start my day now. But I've just put that in my head. You know what I mean? Oh, I need a coffee to go. So like it's when I think of that, I'm like, it's the same with these supplements too.
Yeah.
So
And I think, yeah, some
yeah,
like the placebo effect. I feel like that's so interesting. And that can be like another podcast for another week. But like you said, like
yeah,
minds are so powerful in whatever we tell
yeah,
ourselves, we think about that or we just believe that. Like
yeah,
because we have this very strong belief. And that's the same thing. Like when you believe in yourself that you can make something happen, you will make it happen because you believe in yourself.
yeah,
Exact same thing here. If
yeah,
you believe that this coffee is gonna give you energy, even if you have been taking it for years, we know that it's not gonna give
yeah,
you energy anymore because your body has gotten used to drinking coffee every
yeah,
single morning. But you tell yourself and you
yeah.
believe
That's
that yes, this is giving me energy. And so you have that placebo effect. And that's I just find that so
yeah,
interesting. So let's talk about that maybe another time, another podcast next week. I think that'll be
yeah, definitely.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, let's get started with protein. I think I can understand, or I think you guys already understand the basics of protein, but maybe let's just quickly touch on,
Yes.
why we need that protein. So the protein that we
Yeah.
take, that's going to help us with muscle recovery. That's going to help us with muscle
Yeah.
growth. Protein doesn't only
Yeah.
come in protein powder. We can get protein from our food. So when you eat chicken, when you eat fish, steak, tuna, that's all protein. But when you have
Yeah.
steak, for example, you have to chew the protein. But when you have a protein shake,
Yes.
which is mixed with water, you just drink it. It's still the same
Yeah.
thing, but different forms. But obviously, if
Yeah.
you have the steak, that's going to have more vitamins. That's going to have more minerals. If you drink the protein
Yes.
powder, even though it's still protein, you get the macros. So the protein, sorry, you don't get those vitamins. You don't get those minerals. And that's why we say
Yeah.
we prefer to give you something that is more nutritious. And when we say
Yeah.
nutritious, it just
On a
means more
food.
vitamins,
Mm.
more minerals, rather than just a protein shake. So yeah, so that's
Yeah.
powder. And there are different types of protein powder. We have whey protein powder, we have isolate, we have casein,
Yes.
we have muscle gainers, we have plant-based, and they
Yeah.
is still protein powders, but they are different
Mm.
types just according to maybe if you your tolerance. So if you're lactose intolerant or not, if you're a vegan, so if you don't eat any
Yes.
meat products.
Mm.
And muscle gainers is a mix of protein powder plus some carbohydrates and fats,
Yeah.
because they're more like a meal replacement. Like they give you more calories
Yes.
with the goal of gaining more muscle mass.
Yes.
I think
Yeah.
that was like a really quick overview of like the different
Yeah.
types of protein powders. Yeah, but if the
Yeah.
the main difference between the whey and the isolate. So whey has more lactose. Isolate
Yeah.
is refined, which means it's going to have
Yeah.
less lactose, less fats, less sugar, and that's why the
Yeah.
price is way more expensive than a normal whey
Yeah.
product. Like you can get, let's
Yes.
say, 2 kgs whey protein for roughly 98 or 100 and something, and then the isolate will be 150, 170. I feel like
Yeah.
it's like just going up every single month. Like
I know.
it's so
It's actually,
expensive.
you can't buy, like here in Australia, you can't really buy a protein powder for under like $80 anymore. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's like, it's really expensive. And that's why it's important as well to, like, I know with me, even my protein powder now lasts a long time because I just add like 20 grams into my meals. I don't, or like a 1 meal a day. So I don't have like a full scoop or multiple scoops throughout the day. So that's why even like, when people come to me and you obviously look like everyone's trying to save money and whatnot. And they're like, oh, do I need to get this, and this? And it's like, look, we only really add protein. Like, for example, if you were to have wheat bix or oats in the morning, that's obviously just carbs. And the protein, if you look at the macros, is very low. So you can add the protein powder so that you're having protein with that meal. So you're still having that same meal, but you're adding that in. So I always say to people, protein in every meal, like especially the main meals. Maybe your snacks, that's fine, but at least your main meals have to have the protein. Like it's important. And like you said, with the muscle growth, recovery, protein's been proven to help digest the food as well. So there's a lot of benefits to it. But yeah, it's not cheap. So that's why I say to people, don't rely heavily on them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, and try to get one. I always tell people like buy a bigger one so it lasts you longer, but not completely necessary. Like there's probably, I can probably think of most of my clients, there's only a few that wouldn't even use protein powder because they get enough in their food. The ones that do are more the ones that are really, or really find it hard to get in food and protein and whatnot, or they're on the go. And like you said before, if anyone watching this, or if there's a male watching this that's trying to obviously put on size and put on muscle, it's hard to do that with your food if you've got to eat so many calories. So adding that in is just an easy way to quickly down it, and you ensuring that you're hitting your calorie target. So, and people got to be careful with that as well. Some girls I know have actually bought the wrong one, where
Really?
it's like it's a meal. They've bought like meal replacement instead of protein, and it's like got very similar packaging, and then that meal replacement has like carbs, it has sugars, so you've got to be very careful. So always look at the nutritional label as well. And I always say to people, the less ingredients on there, the better it is.
Yeah.
Because if the ingredients list is really long, it's probably got a lot of stuff added to it. So try to find one with like minimal ingredients.
Yeah. I think, yeah, a really good way to maybe structure your meal plan if you're not working with a coach. I will say breakfast or your main meals, breakfast, mainly lunch and dinner. Make sure your lunch and dinner
Yeah.
have protein powder. Make sure your protein comes from from steak, chicken, all of that. If you're
Yes, yeah.
vegetarian, chickpeas,
Food
tofu,
sources. Yeah.
food sources. Yeah. For breakfast, I feel
Yeah.
like just for convenience wise, I feel like sometimes it can be easier to add one scoop of protein if you're having, let's say, the wheat bix with the milk.
Yes.
Having
Yeah.
that scoop of protein will make sure that you have your protein for that meal. But if not, have some eggs with toast so that way you don't have to add that scoop. And I find it
Yeah.
easy to add that scoop for your snacks. So it can be your first snack or your second snack, whether you do a smoothie or maybe with your yogurt, some protein powder, yogurt, and some berries and peanut butter or something like that. Something nice and simple.
Yeah.
Just remember, the main thing is because it's convenient. There's no another
Yeah.
reason why. It's just nice and convenient, a
Yeah.
really easy way to get that protein powder. So if you don't have any intolerances, if you're fine with everything, if you eat meat, I will say go with a whey protein. If you are lactose intolerant, but like really lactose intolerant, because I feel like some people that are lactose intolerant, they can get away with having whey, but just maybe one scoop. If you
like those ones that say, oh, I think I'm lactose intolerant, but like you got to make sure you are. Yeah.
If you are like 100% lactose intolerant, go with the isolate because it's going to have much more less lactose, or go with the protein, plant-based. So plant-based is made with chickpeas, rice, hemp, other ingredients. So with that one, if you're vegetarian or lactose intolerant, go with that one. I feel like the taste, the texture for me, I don't like the plant protein at all. But some people like, obviously, if you're vegetarian, that's your only choice, or vegan, that's your only choice.
There's actually one brand for anyone that's watching, because I'm the same with the plant-based and vegan. It just tastes different and the texture's different. But there's a brand called White Wolf. I don't know if you guys have it where you are. And that one's really good. It's a vegan protein, but the texture is really smooth, like it's nice. That's the only one that I've had that is nice. But besides that, yes, some of them can be very, you got to be, it's like hit or miss. So it's like, if you're someone that doesn't like, because there's actually people that don't like protein powder. So when I get them to add it into their meals, we've got to be very selective with one that they're actually going to enjoy, because some people just don't like the texture. So we've got to keep in mind as well that different protein powders have different textures as well. I feel like whey is really easy to mix in, where I feel like some of the other ones, they can have a bit of a different texture. So you've just got to be a little bit careful with that. Yeah,
and like
I feel like whey is good for mixing.
I was gonna say that whey, I will say, is like the best one to mix in just with water. Whey mixes so well. But with a plant-based, so if you're vegetarian, vegan, or lactose intolerant, go with that one. Don't just get plant-based because you assume it's healthier. Like
that's right.
I think we spoke about this last podcast, but don't just because it's vegan, it doesn't mean it's 100% than the whey protein. With the mass gainers, I honestly wouldn't suggest it. I haven't suggested to anyone because I feel like it has to be very extreme cases, like someone. It's mainly with guys. I feel like with us women, it's easier to body fat or gain gain weight. But men, they can really struggle with that. So if you're a guy listening to our podcast and you're like really struggling with that, I will still look at your meal plan first, because some people just say like, I'm eating so much. And then when you ask them, okay, tell me everything that you're eating. I'm just having like one sandwich in the morning and then some nuts in the afternoon and then
that's right. They're
that's
not
too much. Then you're not really eating too much. That's a problem. So let's focus on that.
That's right.
And then maybe we can add one scoop of the mass gainer, but maybe then must. And with the casein protein, so there's another protein, casein.
Casein.
This one takes a little bit longer for your body to digest.
Yes, it's slow release.
It's mainly suggested to be taken at nighttime, so you can take it at nighttime when you sleep. You have that nice
before bed.
It's not a must. I feel like for some people because it takes longer to digest. It might make you a little bit bloated if you take it today or like 1 p.m. for lunch.
I've actually had people. It's very interesting you say that, because it's either really hit or miss. Depends how your body like deals with it. So I have some girls that they said, look, it just made me bloated. But then there's some that were like, no, I was fine. Like with me, I can have it and I feel fine, but there's some that just feel bloated on it. So obviously, and I found the link was as well, it's more people that don't digest well, then because that is so slow, they're having troubles digesting it. So if you're someone that has a really good digestion, you could probably afford to have it. And it's good as well. The reason why I like the casein is because it's got a different texture. It's got like a custard kind of texture. Good to have at night as like a dessert, like with fruit. You can add fruit to it. You can add like cereal or whatever it is. But I feel like it's a really nice treat to have at night. So it's actually funny. Some of my girls loved it, but then they're like, it just doesn't agree with me, but I love the taste. And I'm like, well, if it's not agreeing with you, better to cut back. So yeah, that's something that you can have as well. If you're someone that feels like you have to have like a little, treat at night, dessert, you can add that in, and that's better than having like an ice cream or having chocolate, because obviously the nutritional like value is different. The chocolate or the ice cream is not going to have high protein. Whereas at least the casein, you feel like you're having a treat. Like I know people that even freeze it, take it out of the freezer after, like little tricks like that. You feel like having a dessert, but it's got the protein in it. So yeah, that's a good option as well.
Yeah, I think the taste of the casein is so nice because it mixes so well with yogurt. I think that, it's such a nice taste. But in saying that, like, don't feel like you have to go and buy a whey protein powder and a casein protein powder.
And a casein,
If you already have the whey, keep going. Don't buy anything extra. Remember, just again, like, you don't need to spend so much money on supplements. You simply don't. So just taking the one that you're taking. If you feel like that's not working for you, it's making you too bloated, add someone that can help you with this. Send me a message, send a message to Elisa, and we can maybe help you. Let's see. And one protein powder that we forgot to mention, there are some in the market that are like fat burners. Yeah, something like that, like fat burners protein powder or protein powder for women to help you lose body fat.
Like the thermogenic type
yes,
ones.
that one. That one, I feel like people just buy it because they assume, okay, this is a fat burner protein or like a thermogenic is going to help me lose body fat. Again, it's just protein powder. They add a little bit of green tea. They add a little bit of CLA, which it's meant to help you to
accelerate.
But remember, taking that one scoop is not gonna make you do anything. The only way you're gonna lose that body fat is by being in a caloric deficit and sticking to your plans. Also, there's no such a thing as a protein powder for women and a protein powder for males. Or for men.
Like protein.
It's like it won't be like if we say like you need to get this chicken breast for women and this chicken breast for men. Like how crazy will that be? And it's exactly the same thing. Like some men brands are trying to market male, female, woman, man, but it's like it's not. It's just marketing. It's literally just marketing. They just make it look nice and blue.
Just don't be sucked into the marketing side of things. And it's really sad because and there's probably people watching this and they're like, well, this is me. Like, they see something and they're like, I buy it because I think it's going to make me lose weight. And it's like, you've really got to get that out of your head. You know what I mean? Because otherwise you're going to, really struggle when, you're taking it and you're not seeing that result. And you're like, why? Why is that person seeing the results taking it and I'm not? So you got to think of everything else. Like even with the thermogenics, and we can get into that as well. But like I see a lot of people take them in the morning, but then they just go to their job. They're not exercising. They're not like, so it's like they're thinking that it's just going to help them burn fat. But really, ideally, you would want to take that before you work out. You wouldn't just take it and then go about your day. You know what I mean? I feel like you're not really putting it to use. So that's another thing as well. Be careful with the timing that you take these supplements. Like I even know people that will take thermogenic before bed because they think they're going to burn fat in their sleep. You burn fat in your sleep regardless of what you take, but taking that can have a lot of negative effects to like your adrenals, like your cortisol levels, all of that. Before you're going to bed, having something that's, pumping the blood or, trying to get your heart rate up. So really important to, understand that you shouldn't be taking these just for the sake of it or assuming as soon as I take it, I'm going to burn fat. Like it's really sad. I've met people that will take thermogenic products like 3 times a day. Can you imagine what that's doing to the insides?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they just assume like that's going to help them burn more fat, you know? So yeah, it's really, just be really careful with that. Yeah,
Yeah.
because
And
like you said, the long-term effects. Yeah.
yeah, that reminds me. Okay, we need to move on to the next supplement, but that quickly reminds me. I was at Chemist Warehouse. I think you guys have Chemist Warehouse in Australia.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, I
Great
was
here.
there, yeah, buying I think I was buying some aminos or something else. And there was this lady asking the guy that worked there, she was like, I really want to lose body fat. I think this protein powder is going to help me with that. And it was a thermogenic protein powder. And I just couldn't help myself, but I was like, do you mind if I say something about this? Because I just couldn't keep my mouth shut. I was like, what's your goal? What are you trying to achieve with this? Like, why do you want to get this protein powder? Obviously not like this, but being very nice. She's like, I want to lose body fat. I can see this protein powder is thermogenic. It's going to help me lose body fat. And I was like, look, can I be honest with you? And I told her, like, this is not going to help you lose body fat. This is just marketing. If you buy this product, at least you're going to be wasting your money on something you don't need. Are you currently working with someone, or are you, you have something to follow for your meals, for things that you're eating? She's like, yeah, I eat healthy. I'm like, amazing, you eat healthy, but do you know how much you're eating for every single meal? Like, your calories. She's like, no, I just eat healthy. I'm like, that's amazing, but eating healthy. And like, if you drink this protein powder, I can guarantee you're gonna drink it and you're simply not gonna see any results. But she just couldn't. I didn't want her to agree with me, but she just couldn't accept the fact that understand. Yeah, she couldn't understand. And I was like, look, here's my number, take it. Call me after 2 weeks if you don't see any changes. I'm more than happy to help you, but I just want you to understand that you're just wasting money on this. This is literally not help you. But that just shows you that they make such a good marketing people believe that this is going to help you. This is a solution. You need to buy this. You need to buy this if you want to see those changes. But it's like, please don't. You're just wasting your money and time. Because she went all the way to the Chemist Warehouse to buy that. She's gonna go back all the way, and nothing's gonna happen.
Yeah, I know. And like, it's actually very interesting. I say to people, if you look on all supplements, it's really small, they write it, but they always say something like along the lines of like, results may vary and this should be used in conjunction with proper exercise and nutrition, but they've got it really small. So like, you wouldn't really see it unless you look closely. So a lot of people, and supplements legally have to put that, because that's their way of saying, oh, well, we didn't tell people that they're going to lose weight taking it, because on the back there, it's got that little like disclaimer. And then I say to people, there you go. Like, this protein on the front was like, lose weight, burn fat in your sleep, but then on the back it's got that's on pretty much every supplement. So that just proves that you need to have proper nutrition and exercise first.
That just shows you like they know what they're doing. They obviously know what they're doing, otherwise
they don't.
Okay, but that's like a quick overview of protein powder, guys. I think now let's talk about creatine. I think creatine is another very popular one. And so many people want to take creatine, and so many people don't want to take it because they assume if I take creatine, especially women, if I take creatine, it's going to make me look too big and bulky. I don't want to look big and bulky, and that's why they don't take the creatine. But maybe let's start with like what's creatine, and what's creatine, and maybe like whether or not we will suggest it to take it, or maybe not take it. So what's creatine? How will you explain it?
Like creatine's pretty much it's very interesting because it's actually one of the most it's got the most scientific evidence to prove the success of it. That's why it's really, really good. And creatine's pretty much a way to naturally build muscle, hydrate your muscle, recover your muscle, all of that. It's pretty much like a lot of people describe it as like it's like natural steroids. Like, it does help with muscle. It's one of the most, but it's not obviously steroids. You know what I mean? So it's a lot safer. It's got a lot more benefits to it. And it's actually not affecting your hormones like other, performance enhancers would. You know what I mean? So I think it's really good because it's safe. It's, good for someone that's training. I would not recommend it if you're not doing weight training or some form of training. I don't think it's necessary because it's more, what it essentially does, it fills the muscles with like water. So it hydrates them, and that's going to help obviously build the muscle whilst you're training them. So that's why it's good to take it like before or during exercise. With me, I like normally just add it in with my aminos because like that way it's got a bit of flavor to it too, because a lot of them are not flavored. But yeah, I think it's a really great supplement, and I encourage everyone who trains to take it. But like I said, if you're someone that doesn't train, it's probably not a go-to. I would say, stick more to your multivitamins. But if you're someone that's looking, especially for us females, it's hard for us to grow muscle naturally, whereas males, they've got a lot more hormones that will obviously, help them build more muscle. So I think creatine's really good for females, and people underestimate it. A lot of it was stereotyped as like for males, but it's now come out more that it's really good for females because it helps them build muscle beyond their natural potential. So I think it's really good in that sense.
Yeah, I think, when you think about creatine, guys, just think about muscle mass. So it's going to help you gain muscle mass. Again, it's not going to make you look big and bulky. Creatine, you might retain a little bit of water, but it's not going to be like huge amount. And I think that's another placebo effect. I think that some people, girls or men, they assume or they think like every time they take creatine, they're like, I need to stop taking this right now because it's making me look too big, too bulky. Like, my arms are getting too big, my tummy is getting too big. I'm like, is it the creatine or is it something else? Because creatine,
it's their nutrition most of the time. Yeah, like they're just eating in surplus. They're not in a deficit, and then they try to look for something to like kind of put the blame on. Yeah. And that's why I get a little bit funny as well sometimes giving women creatine at the start, because then if they stop getting results, they're going to be like, oh, it was because I added the creatine in. So I like them to be at a really good point where they've had like a good month or two in the gym, feeling everything, and then supplement that in, because then there's other things like, recovery and that it helps with as well. But yeah, so it does hold a little bit of water, but I think that's if you were to take a lot of it. Like if you just take one scoop of it, which I think is about like 5 grams to start off with, and you feel good like that, that's more than enough. So yeah,
you only need 1 scoop, which is 5 grams. It will help you to gain muscle mass. It will help you with your strength. So when you're at the gym lifting heavy, and that's another, I think that's the main reason why we say if you train, it's going to help you. But if you don't train, might be useless, because at the gym, it's going to help you to push those weights a little bit heavier on your squats, all your exercises. And also something else I want to mention about creatine. Some products, some creatine, whether it's a capsule or the powder, they might tell you do like a higher dose for 1 week, and then after that drop it back to 5 grams a day. Some might tell you take scoops a day, which will that be 20 grams for 1 week. So load the creatine in your body and then go back to 5 grams. I've tried that myself. I just personally feel like it's not necessary. I feel like it doesn't make any difference at all. I've tried both, like doing 20 grams a day for 1 week and also not doing the 20 grams a day for 1 week. And I just feel like doing the 20 grams, it can make you feel a little bit bloated at the end of the day if you're having too much creatine. And it's just it's just not needed. You're using more product that you can be using for another week or another 2 weeks. It's just not necessary. Just go with your 1 scoop.
I just take it 1. I do sometimes feel like with creatine, you can come off, like if you've been taking it for a very long time, it might be good to come off for like 2 weeks just to kind of like detox and then put it back in again. And that's like with all supplements and vitamins even. I think it's good to have periods where you have like a week or 2 off, just because your body sometimes it doesn't process it the way it should because it's so used to having it. You know what I mean? So even if you just went off for like a week just to kind of get rid of it, but that's obviously if you've been taking it long term. You're not going to take it for like 2 weeks, come off it, you know what I mean? So it's a very, very good supplement. Definitely underrated in like the female like training scene. I think it's really good.
And will you recommend, or for your clients, like do you recommend them to take one scoop, so 5 grams every single day, or just the days that they go to the gym?
Yes. I really like I like to have it on rest days too. And I tell my girls as well. I think it's good to have on rest days too, because I feel like it's got so many benefits to it. And like we were saying before, with the muscle hydration, muscle recovery, and all of that. So at least on your rest days, you're still doing something for your muscles in that sense, with the hydration side and whatnot. So I like to do it on rest days as well every day, because then it's hard if there's some people that train 3 days, or 1 week they might train 4 days. So if they're just kind of taking it whenever, I think it's good with anything, be consistent with it. So I think like even the timing, like try to take it the same time every day or around your training and whatnot. But yeah, I think I like a better approach of like taking it every day, even on your rest days.
Yeah. See, with me, I only recommend it like on your training days. So what I do for
Your
myself,
training day.
my clients, I say
Yeah.
like take 1 scoop. If you train 3 times a week, 4 times a week, just 1 scoop every training session. Yeah. And for me, it's like take it during your training, just because it's easier to remember. Mix your scoop of protein, protein with aminos, having during your training or before your training, just to make it part of your routine. Because if you leave it for the morning or nighttime, you're gonna forget. But if it's the same every single time, it's gonna be easier. But yeah, me personally, I found that when I was taking it every single day, and then I tried taking it only on my training days, I didn't see much difference. I think that's a reason why I do it. But obviously, this just shows you guys like coach. Right. It just shows you that every coach has a different approach. Like just because I do it this way, it doesn't mean it's the best way. Just because Elisa does it this way, it doesn't mean it's just what works for you better.
Yeah, and I guess like at the end of the day, as long as it's in your supplement intake, it's good. Like as long as you're getting it in some way. But yeah, just I don't know for you, but would you recommend it for someone that's not training?
No.
Like for me, I don't recommend it if you're not training. I feel like it's a waste.
It's a waste of money. I will just ask the person, like, what are your intentions taking the creatine? Like, what's the point if you're not training? If you are, obviously yes, but if you're not, I just don't see the point.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to the next one. I feel like, wow, okay, it's been already like 1 hour already, almost 1 hour. We've got quite
a few. Oh my gosh, I have.
Yeah. We've got quite a few. I mean, let's go over a few that we have here. So what about aminos? BCAAs or aminos?
They're really good as well. Same thing. Muscle recovery, muscle hydration. Look, they're not completely necessary. I'm probably not as big on that one as like a creatine or protein. So if someone's kind of struggling with the financial side, I wouldn't recommend it. I would say you don't have to, but I think it's just good for that little bit of extra muscle hydration and recovery. So if you can afford it and can add it in, it's great. But I don't think it's completely necessary. The only good thing as well is some aminos, not all of them, but some have anywhere between like 6 to 10 grams of protein as well. So that can help adding in that extra protein. That's why I like it as well, because it's so easy. You're just sipping on it throughout like your workout. You know what I mean? So, and even for people that struggle to get water in, you know, that's a good way to get you drink water, because it's got that flavor. So little things like that, I think it's good for. But again, I wouldn't be so fixated on like I have to have it type thing, because again, now they're not cheap either. So
yeah, I feel like none of the supplements are cheap. Yeah, I think with me, aminos. First, I think to understand aminos will help you with your recovery. So aminos are the building blocks of protein powder. So just think about protein powder being like a sand castle, and then the sand are the aminos, and that's how you make up the protein molecules. But yeah, I like aminos. I particularly like aminos. So we have amino acids, and then we have BCAAs. So BCAAs is branched chain amino acids, which are only 3 essential amino acids, which means your body cannot produce them. And the aminos are, I think 9 or 10 of the amino acids. Essentials and non-essentials. So essentials, your body cannot produce them, and non-essentials, your body can produce them, so you don't really have to get extra.
It's just like,
Yeah.
that extra. Yeah.
Yeah, the extra.
Yeah.
And some people prefer to take just BCAAs because they feel like it's gonna go straight into your bloodstream and your body's gonna absorb it better. Some other people like just the
Yeah.
aminos because it's more complete. You get more amino acids. It's, you
Yeah.
get more for the price of the same thing. So I think with the two, if I just have to pick one, I personally will go with the aminos just because you get a little bit more.
Yeah.
You don't really
So would
have
I.
you don't really have to go with the BCAAs. And for me, for my clients, I suggest it only to my clients that I know are in that level that it's a little bit more advanced. If you're a beginner,
Yeah,
have to,
definitely.
you really don't.
Yeah. 100%.
But yeah, if I know
Yeah.
this girl has been training for months and months and months and years, and like she's pushing
Yeah.
herself really, really hard, or like lifting heavier weights, then yeah, I will say
Yeah.
get the aminos, get the creatine, and the protein powder. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, with aminos, again, it's not a must-have, but it's good for
Yeah.
you.
But it's good if you can. And if you're training, like you said, I think it's good as well. That's another
Yeah.
one where I probably wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't recommend it to someone that just does walking as a form of exercise and nothing else. You know what I mean? I would only recommend it for someone that's like in a gym doing weight or resistance training. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's the only time I would recommend it. I love it as well. Like obviously though, like you and me, we weight train. So for us, that's probably why we use it. If I wasn't in a gym or working out, I probably wouldn't have it. I wouldn't spend my money on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wouldn't, yeah. And I was gonna mention something else on aminos, but I forgot. Okay, it's gonna come to me. But yeah, that's pretty much like a quick overview. Yeah, I was gonna say something like really. Okay, yeah, the timing of the aminos. I will suggest
Yes.
you're gonna be taking aminos, take it before your training and or after your training. Just because one, it's easier to have that routine in place, and two, you have something tasty to drink during your workout. So you finish your water and you make sure that you're hydrated during your workout as well. And three, because your body is gonna be able to recover a little bit better if you're taking during these times compared to taking it early morning and then you training nighttime. I think the recovery is gonna be much
that's
fine. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, let's go with the next one. We have literally 4 minutes left. Let's go with one more.
All right. Or should we just touch on vitamins quickly?
Yeah,
what do you reckon?
Vitamins. Yeah, let's do vitamins.
Yeah.
Okay,
so vitamins, like what ones are best to take? Like, and it's interesting, we were talking before, they're not really for everyone. Like you don't really take them. I don't take a lot, but I just find, and this could be another thing, it could be like a mind thing as well. I do find I feel better when I take them. There's actually one that I wanted to mention that I've actually had a lot of my girls use and that I've used personally. It's called Super Enzymes. I don't know if you've heard of it.
No.
So what it does, it's a supplement that breaks down your food better. So like your carbs, proteins, fat, with the absorption. So some of these vitamins will help absorb all like the vitamins and the minerals from your food. So I found that this helped a lot with the digestion side of things and processing food better. So that's one that I've found over the past probably like 6 months, and a lot of my girls in it, that's a really good one. So if you guys want to have a look at that, that's something that you can, if you're someone, probably more for someone that eats more food, not really people that eat, not as much, but it's more for helping process a lot more food. So that's a good one. Multivitamins, they're really good, just one a day, or a probiotic. I actually feel like probiotic is good because I feel like that's got a bit more in there. But yeah, besides that, I think if people, like I had a question before, like, do you need to take, vitamins, or do you need to take like a probiotic? It just depends on the person. And this is what we were saying before, get your blood work done, because that's going to tell you what you need to supplement. You know what I mean? I'm not going to take vitamin B, D, E, you know what I mean, if I don't need that. So I think it's important to understand, like, get a test done, a blood test, because with my blood, I have a look, go through it with my coach and see what do I need to supplement. And I think that's really important as well. If your levels are all kind of, you don't really need anything. But yeah, if you're someone like, I have a few that their sleep was a little bit, how you going? So like things like melatonin and all of that just helps them get into like a deeper sleep. Yeah, but what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah. Yeah, we were discussing about this earlier, and I personally don't take multivitamins. I
Yeah.
used to. I've done it for so long. I used to, but I just found like maybe it was a placebo effect. You know, I don't know if it's doing much or not. So I stopped taking them just to see how my
Yeah.
body respond, just to see whether I feel something, and I didn't feel anything. And I feel like that's because why I don't take them anymore. I don't really recommend them anymore. But again, it's case to case. You know, some people might need them, but like you said, getting a blood test done and knowing exactly what vitamins you need is going to be much, much, much more beneficial. And if you're working with a coach and that coach is telling you to take vitamin A, D, you know, all these vitamins, maybe ask him, like, do you
Yeah.
mind explaining why you're making me take these vitamins? Because if they know the
Yeah.
answer, and then if they know why they give you those things, okay, maybe they know what they're doing. But if they don't have an answer for that, maybe they're just giving you that for no reason. So
Exactly. Yeah,
before
no
you
reason. Yeah.
risk your health, before you put your health on risk and you waste that money, always double check why you're taking
Why
those.
you're, yeah.
Yeah, but with me,
Yeah.
I wouldn't. Yeah, multivitamins, that's a good one. I just don't.
I
I
just, yeah,
wouldn't
just for
recommend it.
overall health. I do like fish oils too. I just help, like I find for like the muscles and whatnot. Again, it could be like a placebo thing, like I'm taking it, I feel, you know what I mean? But I do find that they help not only with like the joints and whatnot, but with like brain function. Like there's a lot of other benefits. So you can take those because like, see, something like a fish oil, they're quite cheap. Like they're not something that's super expensive. So I think if you are just feeling like you're lacking something, you can. But like I said, make sure that you get tested first. You don't want to be taking all that. Like you don't need to take iron supplements if you're not low in iron. You know,
Mhm.
so then people are like buying iron supplements, taking all these pills, and it's like, but you don't need it. Like that's just for someone that needs that. So make sure you do your blood work. You know, I always do it religiously, like once or twice a year. I know I do it more because I compete, but even the average person, I always tell my girls, like, you know, do a blood test to see if there's anything you're lacking. Because that could be a link for you to why you're feeling tired, why you're feeling, you know what I mean? So I think it's important to do that. And
Yeah.
same with supplements, vitamins aren't magic. They're just going to they fall under the supplement category because they supplement obviously if you're lacking something.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like just because your energy levels are low, it doesn't mean straight away you have to run to the pharmacy or supermarket and get iron tablets, get vitamin B12. Before you do that,
Yeah.
yourself like, okay, what about my nutrition? What's something that's lacking?
Yeah.
Am I getting enough nutrients? Am I
Yeah.
having calories? Once you look at that and change
Yeah.
that, trust me, your energy levels are going to change so much. Not by week 1, but
Yeah.
maybe week 2, you're going to feel better. Because even my boyfriend, he
Yeah.
was feeling the same way. He was feeling so tired. He was lacking energy.
Yeah.
Straight away, he ran to the supermarket. He got those supplements, and I was like, "What are you doing? Like, have you even considered maybe you
You
look
should have looked at your
first?" Yeah.
nutrition. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
obviously he's not gonna listen to me, so I'm like, we'll do whatever you want. But
Yeah.
like, you know, you have to make sure that you know exactly your what is it, your priorities, but like, you know, the foundation. So your nutrition, what
Yes.
you're doing with that, how much
Yeah.
water are you drinking, how much caffeine are you drinking? Once you know,
Veggies, all of that.
then
Yeah.
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 Don't just think
Like
that
that
it's gonna be
as
magic
well.
pills.
Yeah,
But I
definitely.
think let's do a part 2 for this because we still have quite a few supplements to
Yeah.
talk.
Yeah,
We are running
definitely.
out
We
of
definitely
time.
do.
Yeah. But I think,
Yeah.
the
And
main,
if people have questions,
yeah.
like make sure you ask us like specifically so that we can like, you know, answer them as well. I think that will be good. Yeah, but definitely part 2.
Yeah. So we've done protein, we've done creatine, we've done aminos, multivitamins. We'll be talking about fairness, glutamine,
Yes.
pre-workout.
One.
There's
Yeah.
but they're not coming to my mind right now. But yeah, we're gonna be doing part 2 next week,
Yeah,
talking about the other ones that we're not talking about right now. But I think the main takeaway that we want you guys to
definitely.
take from this, main takeaway is to know what you're doing before you purchase that thing. Know exactly why you should be taking it and why you need to take it. If you need it, maybe get it. If don't spend your money. Like focus on your nutrition. That's the main thing. Nutrition and training, that should be your priority. Nothing else.
Priority, yeah.
You get those things right, once you have that good foundation in place, once you have that really good foundation going, then maybe think about the supplements. But for now,
Yes.
focus on the basics. Remember, basics, it's everything that you need to get the results that you want. You don't need extra, nothing fancy, nothing here and there.
Yeah.
Basics, that's all you need. Yeah, but do you want to mention something before we go? Something else before we go?
Yeah, just like you said, I mean, you pretty much said it all, but just, yeah, don't fall into the trap of getting sucked into marketing. You know, everything, your journey is all about you. It's individualized to you and what your goal is, what you need. So just make sure you always remember that before just jumping on and, you know, buying that because you can see that, oh, that person's used it. So, and they've got good results. So make sure, remember that everyone's journey is different, everyone's body's different, and, you know, only get what you need. Don't, you know, just buy everything under the sun. Yeah.
Amen. Well, thank you so much, guys, for joining. And I'm curious, you know, let us know on Instagram or any other social media platform, what supplements are you taking and why are you taking them? I'll be very interested to know that, guys. And we'll be here making a part 2 of this next week. If you like this episode, make sure to share it on your social media and tag me at Daniela Del Carpio or tag Elisa at Empowerment PT by Elisa.
By Elisa. Yeah,
Yes.
you got it. Get there.
Yeah. Until next time. And as I always say, don't ever stop believing in yourself. Ciao.